Okay, I'm recording.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Greg Hockermeyer is not available today. This is like the first time in my 2 years he wasn't here. He truly couldn't make it, and my thoughts are with him. So we'll start by saying that we have a quorum, and if anyone has reviewed the minutes and wants to make a motion to approve them.
Chris makes a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
And
I second the motion.
That's second? Okay. So, next up is the director's report.
They need to make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. That's what I meant. So, everybody who would like to approve the minutes, say aye. Aye. Anyone who would like to, what's the
Opposed.
Oppose. Anyone who would like to oppose, same sign. All right, it's approved. First item. All right. Now it's time for the director's report.
Okay, before I get into that, I do want to add a couple of things to the agenda. I did get an update with PHP because we went to a different type of plan, and I kind of wanted to go over the numbers. It's just one sheet to show you how much money we have available left to pay claims. So I'll go over that really quickly after I do the director's report. It's just our healthcare balances. I did, when we get to the point where we're talking about the bond issuance, I do have a list of a sheet of architects that Kristen gave me, and I wanted to share that with you. So if you want me to contact one or a couple of them to see what things are going to cost as far as a building project. The other thing is, a year and a half ago, we banned a patron from the library for specific behaviors, and that patron came to see me today and would very much like the board to consider allowing them to have their privileges reinstated, and he would be willing to come and speak to you at the next board meeting. So I would like to cover those things after I go through the director's report, if that's okay with everyone. Okay. So I wanted to let you know that Christy Whitten, I'm going to go ahead and let her take weekends off. Things have gotten pretty difficult, so I think it's time for us to actually recognize her original schedule of 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Library things, so we're slowly converting the periodical room into a library of things. So we have a place where we can store like our lawn games and our power washer and our postal digger and all our cake pans and tools and all those kind of items. In your packet, you received a memorandum of understanding that I wrote after I attended the training. So Greg and I were at the training that was sponsored by the Indiana State Library, but we were invited to it from the Cherubusco Public Library. And when we went through the list of all the things that we need to have done, I mean, I was pretty pleased. We seemed to have all our ducks in a row, except for I didn't have a memorandum of understanding between myself and the Board of Trustees. So I developed one, and I don't know when you want to do this, but if there's changes or things you want me to make on that document, I'll gladly do it, and then revise it and bring it back to you for approval. Okay? The bylaws, when I read the bylaws, I realized I'm supposed to let you have the bylaws for 30 days before we vote on them. So that's why they were in your packet, so that you have them for 30 days, and we can vote on the bylaws then in June. Sweetwater Sound is going to upgrade the equipment in the auditorium. getting old and the sound system is failing us, and so I thought, they did a great job in here, so we're gonna have them go ahead and do what they can to help us out in the auditorium. We're in the process next week. Joe and I are interviewing a youth services summer reading clerk. This is somebody that will just help us during the summer, so.
Do you have, is there an idea of the price for the updating of the sound and things for Sweetwater?
So that's including lights and everything, it's gonna be about $11,000. Therm's usage. So I finally contacted NIPSCO and I got a hold of Corey, and we suspect, although we cannot confirm at this time because we really need to wait to get May's bill to see if it goes down, we suspect the culprit in all of this was the TCS technician during a PM visit noticed that the booster to the water heater was unplugged, and so he plugged it in, and that's when all of our usage, our therm's usage went up, and so we're hoping that's what caused the issue. So that's where we're at with that. When I called NIPSCO, I mean, they would come out and all they can do is test for leaks. So, and the reason I started with Corey is because they're the ones that services our boilers. And if she had recommended that I go ahead and contact Lockwood to come out and check the boilers, I would have done that. But at this point, we're seeing if it's the booster. Okay?
Just from the weather, we should see a reduction anyway coming, so
Yeah, but I'm-
hopefully it's substantial.
Yeah, yeah. And then I put a wish list in your board packet for your review, and it does include items from the staff and from the Continuous Improvement Committee, because you have requested that information. So, and then what I did, as I explained, is I kind of put things in different groups. Some of the items we actually can pay for out of our, operating budget. So I have those listed separately because there's no need to have a building project on those items. And I kind of put them in categories. And then I went through and highlighted what I thought were the more important items so that you would have an idea of what I think is, again, more important. However, I really do want your input, on what you think should be included, and if we're going to get to that $1.8 million, under the $1.8 million to issue a bond through 2027. Is that what that sheet says?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the things that are in, do we want to discuss any of these or just?
Yeah, I'm fine however you want to do it. Nikki, do you want to just go ahead since we're on
Yes.
the wish list right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ones that are on the back page that are under the operating budget items,
Yes.
how long do you think, or how many years of operating budget do you think we can get those in? Is that going to be the same time frame? Or is that like, were you thinking a year or two?
Well, some of this is like new chairs and tech services. I could do that this year. Getting another language database. I mean, we could do that next year. Code hanging on the floor, it depends on what they want. I don't know if we could install like something we have already down here. I'd have to investigate. But I'm thinking these are things that you just put it in the operating budget. And yes, Chris, I think we can do that within the next 3 years. Just knock these things out.
Okay.
So, and I really think, as far as the shelving goes, Yalia shelving I can see, but I don't think we need to go with more shelving because we're seeing more and more of the increase of digital. And we've got a lot of shelving up there as it is. It might be a way that we can reallocate where things are, perhaps look that way, but I really don't want to add more shelving because people like the digital, and we don't have to shelve digital. Okay, I don't know that you guys wanted me to lead the discussion regarding the wish list.
Well, it's nice to know that we have, from what we had from the strategic plan, when we did that, and then staffing concerns and or needs. And was looking at it just from a safety and building concerns issue, so LED lights, paving, windows, those types of things should be done, and outside of the operating budget should be done. So I didn't have a problem with any of those pieces, this soundproofing or anything like that. That's where I was coming from, to see where we would be if you wanted to make a hierarchy from a list to have. That's a good thing to do. We definitely need to discuss it. Did anybody have anything that wasn't highlighted that they wanted to see?
For me, the only one was the wetlands boardwalk lookout. I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was really cool highlighting the feature that this library is kind of famous for, but I also understand that that's not a necessity.
The only issue I have with that one is it was in disrepair, so we just had to take it out.
Right.
That's where I feel weird about that one. In my opinion, that's just, I agree. I like it, and I would like to have it back.
I guess I'm confused. What do you mean? Why we just had it taken out?
Yeah, we just had, instead of
It's the time frame, you mean?
doing the repairs on it or making any repairs at that time, we did have, paid to have it taken out.
We really didn't have a choice.
I know, that's
Okay.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
It
it
just-
wasn't repairable.
Okay,
okay.
I know, that was what I just, from my aspect, because we took it out not to replace it, but to just take it out to get rid of it. And then it comes back in again to replace it. Now, I like the idea, I think it should be there, it's very good for the public to come and use and see, because it's the only wetlands library. Yeah. So,
I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I did think that we had a discussion at the time that we planned to replace it with something of different material or something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Some kind of future.
Well, and then when we decided to take it out was because it was during the pandemic and we couldn't get all the materials. So we're like, we'll just take it down for safety and move on when the materials are available again.
I just remember I wanted it down for safety reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree, adding that back is not a bad thing to add back, because it does need to, and it would be a perfect spot for it to put it in here. I think more Wi-Fi access would not ever be a bad thing.
We are getting more Wi-Fi though this summer. We're getting more units in, so they have farther reach. So honestly, we can check the mark that one.
Oh, accomplished.
Yeah.
All right.
Mary's just looking for
I had a question, intercom system for the library. I don't know what exists right now. So could you explain that?
We don't have an intercom system.
Okay.
So
that is staff saying that they would like that?
it's one of those things where I guess if you have to try to find somebody in the building, so you know, Betsy's mother calls and wants to know if Betsy's in the children's department or maybe she's downstairs and a staff member has to find Betsy. It's a big building to try to find one person. That being said, we've lived without it this whole time. And the departments, I mean, info desk is pretty close to the CERT desk. The CERT desk is pretty close to the adult services office. The people that I could consider maybe the furthest away from others would be the youth services department and then anybody in the basement. But that's just something somebody said they wanted. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just thinking emergency situations or safety issues.
If the fire alarm goes off, you can't hear an intercom anyways.
You what?
You can't hear an intercom if the fire alarm is going on. I was thinking in a case of an emergency, maybe you could use it, but generally the building has devices already attached to those things, so. And I think, didn't Lori have something on her?
Lori said she would like to see the branch in Corn Creek Township, although she wondered if it would also require a larger bond and a restroom and youth services with the changing station. That was something that was pretty important to her. She would like to see more.
I was piggybacking on that, if we could update the bathrooms, but as soon as we do that, then you have to make sure we're ADA compliant on those if we make any changes. And I think that could be a very good use of funds there as well.
We did have an improvement on the restrooms just recently where we got newer air filters in, so we did that in 2020.
Right.
Now and that was upstairs. We didn't do the ones downstairs, but you want a complete renovation on the bathrooms. Okay. And you want me to add that to the highlighted list of yellow items?
I would,
I don't think that would be that.
yeah, I don't think it would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
And if the other one was the drinking fountains or staff drinking fountains, or do we have a water system where it can fill up a bottle that's filtered?
That's why, yes. So what happened was when Joe started, he hated the taste of our water, and it's a complaint I've heard over the years, but I also know that Columbia City doesn't have the best tasting water. So we just live with it. But I ended up calling Culligan, and what they could offer me was 2 under the sink filtering systems. So we have one down here in this kitchen, and then we have one upstairs in the youth services department. So staff can fill their bottles up. I think to replace all the plumbing in the building and add some sort of huge filtering system on it, the scope of that work, I don't think could be in a small building project.
No, I was thinking more like a drinking fountain piece that would have because we have a drinking fountain out front, yes?
Yeah.
Can we just update that fountain to a filtered water state
I
filling station?
would have to find out. I don't know enough about it. But I can want me to put that on the list too. Drinking fountain with our water bottle spigot.
Fillings, yeah. We got them in the school now, and I will tell you, they get used a lot. Used a lot.
Something I've noticed, which maybe I'm the only one, and it's not a need exactly, but the roof, is that little pink squares? No? Okay, every time I drive by one, the roof of the library just looks so pink, like a light pink. Okay, never mind.
It's actually a beige. I mean, that's the color we selected.
The
Yeah.
roof, the metal roof?
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm losing my vision, my color vision.
Yeah, so it was a black steel roof, and then we got what's called a Conklin roofing solution, or kind of like an acrylic sealant for it. And at that time, I went with lighter because I wanted to save on energy costs.
Right.
So we went with lighter. However, it does need to be cleaned, and I come to think of it, I haven't heard from Ben lately. But I want green improvements to come out and wash it.
Yeah.
So.
But no leaks since then? I mean, it's been I
Oh,
know,
no,
right?
I know. I mean, when you read through the timeline that I
Yeah.
did last month, it was like roof leaks, new leak, here's a leak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The gutter, I'm okay with everything on the list other than just adding a few of those other pieces. The outlook, if we put it in, I remember the deck did not come all the way out to any sidewalk. It was in the grass, correct?
The deck actually started
start
here.
here?
Yeah, there's 2 lights over here, so where the picnic tables are. And then it angled off that way. So it actually did start
start
at a
here.
sidewalk. But we don't have to put it where it was. We can make it whatever we want it to be.
True, but we still have to have some way for anyone who can get onto it, I guess. From the flat.
So, well, we might have to look at materials that are, and then how it's ADA compliant. I don't know that the original structure was,
It was not.
so. Nikki, do you want me to go ahead and pass out the list of architects?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to interrupt your discussion, but
I don't know. I guess I'm concerned about anything that would be too big, rushing into it in a short time. Just trying to spend enough money, but not thinking through the whole, like how is it gonna affect operating costs on the road, things like this.
Well, this first step is just to get a pricing sheet from the architect, correct?
That's my understanding.
And then from that, we can line item all the stuff that we need or don't need.
Right, okay, let's,
But my concern is that, are we okay with just what's on here, or is there anything else that we were wanting to get? Because the washer and dryer, where would we put, was that washer and dryer something we would put in the back? You were thinking somewhere in particular, or
well,
wherever?
I don't know if you remember, but we bought a sink. Remember we bought that stainless steel restaurant sink when we were gonna install that back there, and we thought about putting a washer and dryer back there. And it went over budget, because I think it was like $15,000 or something for the plumbing for that.
Yeah.
But for me, to have a full kitchen, it makes more sense for us to do it in that unfinished area. And have the sink in there, and washer and dryer in there, and a full kitchen in there, and
Yeah.
all of that. Just refinish at least the part maybe over by the windows. But it wouldn't matter, it's a pretty big space. So, but that's what I was thinking.
Because that's not in here anywhere, it's finishing that room, is it?
Well, the only way it would be is where I put in a full kitchen.
That's where you were
Because
thinking?
that's
okay.
where I was thinking it would go.
Because I was always
So-
thinking we were going to try to finish that room off down there some way.
Mhm. The only thing I'm worried about now is I need to have you guys go back and look. Mark's stuff's back there.
That's okay.
And that means I have to move Mark's stuff in the other storage. I should have you look at our storage areas. Then again, you'll look at me and say, Mary, clean it up. So,
Mary, was there an architect on this list that you preferred to contact?
well, I like local. The only local is MKM there in Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. I have, Zach Benedict has a pretty good reputation with the other libraries that he's worked with. So, again, what I'll do is clarify with Christy to make sure all I need to do is just maybe contact one of them just to do our basic estimate. And just ask him, are you okay with if I do that?
I would, yeah. Would you like a
So are we
motion?
ready to?
Well, I think I need to make sure I have the list of everything you want. I want to make sure that I have.
Yes.
um,
Okay. Wetlands boardwalk on there? Yep. The restrooms and youth services, renovating the bathrooms,
Right.
all the highlighted items.
And you said the branch in Lord Creek? Or possible
Lori put that down. Personally, I would like a study on that for committing to
Right, yeah.
something.
I would agree.
And, that would take longer. That would be one that would definitely,
Not fit the time frame.
yeah.
And
I don't know how you guys feel about
are you okay with getting the new furniture upstairs to replace some of the reading
That's
chairs?
highlighted?
It's on.
that. That's highlighted, right?
Yeah, it's under aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So you're okay with that? Okay, so I want to just clarify, I'm doing all the highlighted items, plus the wetlands boardwalk and lookout, the bathrooms upgrade, the drinking fountain, water bottles, spigots, in the bathroom and children's area. Am I missing? Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll contact an architect on here, contact Kristen, contact an architect, and hopefully come back next month with an updated list with pricing.
And we're not officially doing anything, you don't get a motion for you.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Did you want to talk about the healthcare balances and the
Yeah, that'd
patron
be
getting
great.
reinstated?
So this is from PHP, and we went to a level 1 program, a level up program, I forget what they, is it on, what they called it.
The first column I want to direct you to is our total claims paid. So just as it shows, now I do have to let you know we run the end of November to the beginning of December. That's why the month of December is included. So you see the total amount of claims paid. And then the next column I'm going to direct you to is monthly claim payments against claim funds. Oops, the same thing. I apologize. Claims fund deposits. So under total claims paid, it's $2,501.88. The amount of money we collected to pay for those claims is $5,752.80, with a balance of $3,250.92. So this is kind of a self-funded insurance that we have, and we're in the black, which is good. And I wanted you to see that. We should meet every quarter, and I'll try to bring you the reports so you guys can see where we're at as far as the healthcare benefits. Do you have any questions?
Is anybody not getting the services that they need? Or from what they've heard, or has anyone said everything's okay, they're okay with all services?
I have not had any complaints from staff. If anything, they were thrilled because some of them, although some of them did go up, most of everybody's premium went down significantly going to this program.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
and we're probably going to have 2 more staff adding onto that. If they have a major change in their life, they can go on there. Somebody is on their parents' plan, and that's going to change in August. So we'll probably add her onto our plan, and then I have another person who is going to wait till open enrollment, and she will get on the plan. So I think it's encouraging to see that they want to be on it. So I was happy about that. Okay. The incident report.
I'm sorry, this is pretty lengthy, and I want to protect people's privacy. Go ahead.
Did we discuss that at the executive session so that we could be open with today, or
I don't know. I know the one, back in 2013, we
Yeah.
actually had somebody that came and met with that, and that was a part of the public meeting.
that was part of the public, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So here it is. In a nutshell, there was an incident, and a part of the incident that has me a little troubled
Is that when he left, he got in his vehicle, and one of the staff members felt threatened because he backed his car up and was aiming the car, according to the report, at a staff member. So I'm fine if you want me to have, if you want to hear him come or have him talk to you. Or if you just want to take a couple minutes and look through and give me your thoughts. I did tell him I would try to call him back tomorrow. And if you need more time, I understand.
Let's see, I voted on that, who else voted on it? Or was it just Greg? Were you on the, no? So it was just Greg?
Well, no, it happened it was in September of 2020. No, I think what happened was I went ahead and did what I did, and then I told you what I did and why I
You
did.
had
Okay.
100% support. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you
That's what it
supported
said.
my decision.
Yeah.
And,
Vote.
yeah. So it's a year and 8 months later.
So your feelings, you've talked to the individual because they came in and had a meeting with you.
Today, he came in today to talk to me. I told him that I needed to talk to the board. He said he'd be willing to come to talk to the board. I said he wouldn't be able to come today because he has to give us 10 days notice and we have to put him on the agenda, and he totally understood that. My feeling is, I think I need to talk to the staff members that were involved in the incident, and I think we need to hear what they have to say.
I would respect that
I think
100%.
that's important.
So, having heard that part, is it something that you would like to have on the agenda for next meeting, or just tell us what you've come up with for the next meeting?
I needed to find out from you if you would be willing to listen to the person in question. He wants to have his privileges reinstated because there are times he needs to use the computer. And at the same time, we have to take into consideration the staff members that were involved. So I don't think this is gonna be an easy answer, and I certainly can call him tomorrow and let him know. But I'm not sure how you want me to handle it.
I would really like it to be a full board, the
Yeah.
discussion this year, but
Well,
And I think we need to, after you talk to the staff, too, we know those results.
well, if he's already said he wants to come talk next month, he can come talk next month because it's within 10 days, further out than 10
Right.
days. That's not the thing, that it was just me hearing from you back. So if he wants to come next month,
okay,
within his 10 day or further than 10 days, you can't stop him from that part.
Yeah.
okay.
If that's what he wants to do, it's fine.
Please provide that information about the other staff and your own opinion too.
Okay.
He is in the area, because we had on the comment, they wanted to come and they needed to have these criteria. He meets all of those, is that right?
Well, that is a really good question. I'll have to check his address. He did tell, I mean, and he has moved a couple times since the incident. So I'll have to check for that.
So we could just go back to that, policy that we made, make sure that we're following that.
Okay, all right. And then I'll do some investigating, and I'll contact him tomorrow and let him know.
Patron safety, staff safety, they're of utmost importance, so
Okay.
let us know
Yeah.
the staff's
Okay,
feelings on the issue. Yeah.
all right. All right, the memorandum of understanding, did you have any areas of questions or concerns or? And I thought it would be good to have this in place for my predecessor? Is that right, or my fault? Is that the right word? I don't think that's right. Whoever's coming after me.
I mean, is it predecessor right?
I don't
It sounded
know.
right when you said it,
Well, it sounded right, then I thought
It'll be
about
right
it.
today.
Yeah.
I didn't see one thing,
Okay.
Thought
No,
should
the
change.
was on there, walls on there, that's good.
Okay. And then just remember, review your bylaws so that we can vote on those next time. And that, I believe, is all I have, except for we have the bond lease issue. Well, we already did that.
Yeah.
Well, we're good.
Yeah, because that's not that is nothing that he is an action.
So, we're going to move along to claims. Yes. And, we start by entertaining a motion to approve them and then have the discussion, is that correct? Okay,
That's customary. Yeah.
all right. Would anyone like to entertain a motion to approve the claims?
I will make a motion to approve.
All right.
Oh, that's
Carmen?
Carmen.
And anyone want a second?
Chris, second.
Chris seconds. Any discussion?
The term usage, is that, looks like where it should be, or what it still was?
It did go down a lot for this month, or for last month. So that's why we're gonna wait and see.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, okay.
Because I think when you, if you look at the, what page is it on, guys? The one where we list all the utilities.
23. Yeah, I was just on it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost triple what it was last year.
Yeah. Yes,
But it went down from the month before, and it went down,
But it's a definite spike there, so I'm glad we've got at least something to look into to that, but
Yeah, especially because you would think if the whole idea is to use less water, because you don't have to wait for the hot water, but the utilities haven't, you don't see a noticeable drop in those either.
Well, I was curious, but according to Billy, BTUs, a water heater the size of ours uses a lot of BTUs, so it really could be a booster,
Right.
so.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, there would be no benefit to using the booster if you're not
Correct.
seeing a drop in the water.
use kit.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the motion, say aye. Aye. All those who would like to oppose the motion, say aye. It's approved. And last is the adjournment. How do you like that pronunciation? Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn. Beth?
Carmen will second.
Everyone approved, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to adjourning? We are adjourned. All right.
I signed this twice, yes?
Yes.